Don't look now, but the Dallas Mavericks have been on an absolute heater as of late. They have won 16 of their last 18 games, and tonight won their 50th game of the season in a back-to-back at Miami. This team is looking good. They got 2 games left with Detroit and Oklahoma City. They just blew out the Hornets by 26 games, and we're about to dive in today to see the secret to their success over this run. Now, it has been a bumpy road for Mavericks fans this year. They start out the season 22-15, everything's looking good. Then they go 4-8 and drop to a couple of games under 500. Then, right before the All-Star break, they get heated up. They win 6 in a row. They win their 7th game in a row coming out of the All-Star break. That game was against the Phoenix Suns. And then they drop 5 of their next 6 before winning 4 in a row, and ultimately 16 of their last 18 games. Now we know this is the Luka Doncic show. He has been going nuclear this year for the Mavs, and on the year as a team, they are pretty solid offensively. They're middle of the pack defensively, and they play at the 6th fastest pace in the league. Some team stats here for you. They are actually number 2 in three-pointers attempted and number 3 in three-pointers made, while being number 12 in three-point percentage, but being number 2 in two-point percentage. That comes, from their interior play. And speaking of interior play, it has improved immensely this year. They are now 20th in rebounds and 17th in blocks, while last year they were bottom 5 in both of those categories. Bringing in Daniel Gafford hasn't hurt that at all. Same thing with Derek Lively. And for this video, we're going to be looking at stats from the last 15 to 20 games. And during that stretch, Luka Doncic has been Luka Doncic. He's been averaging 31 a game on 45% shooting from the field, 39% from 3 on over 11 attempts per game, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, 5 turnovers, which, that maybe we need to put a little bit of a cap on that there, Luka. But other than the 5 turnovers, he's been playing very good basketball. Kyrie in his last 15 games has been hooping, 27 points a game on 52% shooting from the field, 40% from 3. He's only turning the ball over about 2 times a game to go with 6 assists and 5 rebounds, as well as 1.5 steals. Kyrie, hey, shout out to Kyrie, man. I mean, we're used to these seasons with Kyrie where he is, headline news. He's just a locker room problem. No, this year he has been he's been on his best behavior, and he has been hooping, if you know what I mean. He's been on a heater as of late. PJ Washington, nice little trade deadline acquisition. Same thing with Daniel Gafford. Both of these guys averaging 12 points per game for them over the last 2 games. PJ is so versatile. He's also averaging 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 1.3 steals, and 1.1 blocks to total about 2.5 stocks per game. Very good numbers there for him. 40% from the field is not very good. 32% from 3. He's been inefficient. As a Hornets fan, I know this firsthand. PJ is not the most efficient guy. We keep saying year after year, hey, if he can get a little bit more efficient, he could, get over the hump this year. Never happened. But, he's playing his role to perfection here in Dallas. Daniel Gafford, we talked about 12 points per game for him, 7 rebounds, and 2.3 blocks per game. Between Gafford and Lively, they are shutting down the paint. Those 2 guys are averaging 3.5 blocks per game together, and they're only playing 36 minutes a game. Very good stuff there on the interior from the Mavericks. Big men. Speaking of Lively, 1.3 blocks we just talked about. Or 1.1 blocks we just talked about, He's only playing 18 minutes a game, but he is shooting at 73% from the field, mostly dunks and layups, 6 rebounds per game for him. And then we also have to talk about Tim Hardaway Jr. here, who he's only playing 22 minutes a game over the last 15 games, but he is not efficient still, but he's averaging about 9 points per game. Honestly, his numbers have been down. You look at him on the year where he's averaging about 15 points a game, 3.3 rebounds, 1.8 assists, and that is in 27 minutes. So his numbers have come down because his minutes have come down. He's averaging 27 minutes per game on the year, where he's only averaging 22 over the last 15 games, but he is shooting at much higher splits, 41% from the field, 36% from 3 on the year, versus 39% from the field and 32% from three over the last 15 games. Now, you can't talk about the Mavericks' success over these last 15 to 20 games without including their role guys, their glue guys, and this includes Derrick Jones Jr., Dante Exum, Josh Green, and Maxi Kleber. We'll start with Derrick Jones Jr., who has proven to be a good wing defender for them. On the year, he's been a better piece than he has over these last 20 games. He's averaging 9 points, 3.3 rebounds on the year, only shooting at 35% from three, which isn't great. But over these last few games, he's averaging about 8 points on 45% shooting from the field, 30% from three, throwing in about 3 rebounds as well. Dante Exum is averaging about 7 points. Man, talk about a find from the Mavericks front office. Dante Exum has come in 7 points per game. He's shooting at 47% from the field, 53% from three on 2.5 attempts over the last 15 games, to go with 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1.2 turnovers, which isn't fantastic, but he's playing 22 minutes a game, and he has been a key rotation piece for the Mavericks all year long when you look at his full season splits, where he's averaging about 8 points. He's averaging roughly the same numbers, 49% from three for Dante Exum on the season. Incredible stuff. I mean, he has turned from a liability from the three-point line to a knockdown shooter. Josh Green, over these last few games, about 5 points per game, 54% from the field for him, 33% from three. People are saying Josh Green fell off. I personally don't see it. I mean, he's regressed a tad, but he's playing a smaller role this year compared to last year, where he had to be a key piece on the perimeter. And then Maxi Kleber finally averaging about 4 points per game on 38% shooting from three, getting about 2 attempts per game there. But yeah, I mean, the Mavericks were in some serious jeopardy in the offseason last year. I really saw no good forward direction for them. And then Luka, I mean, he's playing out of his mind this year, averaging 34 points a game, really putting up MVP numbers. He'll be in the top 5 for the MVP conversation. I don't think he will get it, though. But, I mean 34, 10, and 9. Come on now, that's a better stat line than Jokic, especially when you throw in his three-point efficiency. The dude is incredible. Kyrie Irving has been playing good basketball. The P.J. Washington, Daniel Gafford acquisitions at the deadline were great. I liked the Derek Lively pick. I talked about that from day one. That was a home run pick for the Mavs. And then Dante Exum secretly has been a great addition to this squad. You still got Tim Hardaway Jr. Throwing up bricks. But overall, this Mavs team has been a huge success this year. Shout out to the GM and company for rebuilding the squad. But with that being said, that's going to be it for today's video. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to like button and hit the subscribe button down below, as it really helps out in the YouTube algorithm. And with all that being said, thanks so much for watching today's video.